Yo, what up, everyone? Get into the stream, man. We watching this Randy Orton Beth Phoenix segment before we get into the Raw review tonight. I'm loving this. I predicted Randy Orton would say this. Did I not say this weeks ago on this podcast that Randy Orton would say this for his reasons for attacking Edge the night after the Rumble?
When I say that out loud, I realize something. I love Lyric and Ruby, are two little girls, you're beautiful girls. I love your girls, and I love Edge more than you ever could.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho.
Truth hurts, don't it?
He's going to slap him in the face. Beth's going to slap him in the face. Here it comes. Told you. Everyone saw that coming. RKO her. We're all waiting for it. We all know it's coming. We all know it's coming. RKO her. I'm loving this. RK! There it is. Yes. Yes. I called it. I told you guys. I was completely right. There. I'm always right, man. You see the fan? Why is anybody shocked? We all knew this was gonna happen. I'm always right. I knew Orton was gonna say this for his promo. Why is the... Shut up, Byron Saxton. Acting like, oh, he's all shocked. Oh, please. Byron Saxton's like, oh, Randy Orton's a son of a... Get out of here, Byron Saxton. Shut up, you bald fuck. Get out of here. I can do your job 1,000 times better than you ever could. Acting like he's all shocked. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. End the show. Give me Randy Orton. Give me Randy Orton. Beth Phoenix as the main event. Why is everyone acting so shocked? Yo! This company... End the show! You got freaking Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, R-Truth. You got the catering squad out here. Beth Phoenix selling that RKO. So if you're telling me a Hall of Famer like Beth Phoenix, someone who was bleeding in the Royal Rumble, she's overselling at RKO, she's fine. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Truth hurts, don't it?
Hey, George from Wilson Unit, let's check again, bro. End the show so we can start the review. Yo, this is hilarious how much WWE's drawing it out. The longer they draw this out, the more they're hurting the segment. Oh my goodness. She's fine. Hey, George from security, let's check in while we get down here. Thank you. Alright, the show just ended. Let me just turn off my TV. WWE, I don't know, they really kind of oversold that segment. They oversold the hell out of that segment. Like, yes, Randy Orton RKOing is kind of a big deal, but you bring out the entire catering squad? Is that what we're doing? Beth Phoenix, she's a WWE legend, right? Oh my gosh, like, there's... I predicted this entire segment. I legit told you guys 3 to 4 weeks ago that this is going to happen. But we got, either way, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, guys. All right, let's talk about it. Woo! All right, here we go. Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy Fitzbug TV here, a.k.a. G-Lone33, and I'm back here tonight with the Legit Shoot podcast. Here with your Monday Night Raw review and results for March 2nd, 2020. We are in March now. It's a new month. It's about to be spring, even though this has not been that harsh on winter. Let me just make sure everything's all stable. But, yeah, this was not a harsh winter at all. We still got a couple weeks of winter left, but God has blessed us with, it's been pretty warm this winter. I know people are going to say global warming, whatever, but still, it's about to be spring in a couple weeks. The leaves are going to start growing, the animals will start coming back, and the warm weather will be here to stay, And as we enter the springtime, we enter into WrestleMania season, the most important time of the year. We're starting to finally get a pretty decent look at what the WrestleMania card is going to look like. There's still a lot of matches to be decided. Elimination Chamber, the final pay-per-view for WWE on the road to WrestleMania, is this Sunday. I'm not excited for it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am not excited for Elimination Chamber at all. The show doesn't look that good to me, really. We have 2 Elimination Chamber matches. We have the Raw Women's Elimination Chamber match, which shouldn't even be happening because Shayna Baszler should have won the Royal Rumble. You guys have heard me bitch and moan about that for weeks now. We have a SmackDown Tag Team Elimination Chamber match, which I don't give a damn about either. We still don't know what's going on with the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's the part of WrestleMania I care about the most because it involves Sasha Banks. You guys know if Sasha versus Bayley doesn't happen, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, But either way, we're talking about Raw tonight. Thank you guys for joining me live here on the podcast. All right, if you guys haven't checked out my SmackDown Live review, I did it in the car, which is kind of ghetto because I was driving. But then I had some big hot takes on that review. So if you guys haven't yet, go check that out. That is live on the channel. Either way, guys, I'm excited to be here tonight. We're talking about Monday Night Raw. I don't know how long we're going to go. The main things we're going to talk about, Randy Orton and Beth Phoenix segments, which is actually the first thing we're going to talk about since you guys just saw my reaction to it. So we'll just get that out of the way. We're also going to talk about Becky Lynch and what's going on with her and Shayna Baszler. I have a very big hot take on Becky Lynch, man. You guys know that I did once like Becky Lynch a lot, but at this point, I am really over her. I'm really looking forward to her losing the Raw Women's Championship. She has lost a lot of credibility, in my opinion. I don't know what the hell. Becky Lynch, she's not cool to me anymore. She's not. She's lost all her coolness, everything that made her the man. And I'm probably going to do a separate video on this sometime this week because I really want to devote like 20 minutes to this. And I'm not going to really spend 20 minutes on this review talking about this. But, I'm pretty much over Becky Lynch as the man, and I'm really looking forward to her finally losing the Raw Women's Championship. She should have lost that Hell in a Cell to Sasha Banks. She should have lost about 6 months ago when Sasha came back. But I'm going to be very happy to see Shayna Baszler take that title from her. All right? But, we're talking about Monday Night Raw tonight. We also had a segment between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, which we'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, there's other things that happened on the show, but those are the three big things coming out of Monday Night Raw as we enter into WrestleMania season, since those are the three big matches on the Raw side for WrestleMania. All right. Still, I have no idea what they're doing with the SmackDown Women's Championship. You know, you guys know how much I care about Sasha Banks, and that's on my mind, but I just had to get that out there real quick. I'm really happy that Charlotte was on the show tonight. We haven't seen Charlotte since she started feuding with Rhea Ripley a couple weeks ago. Hopefully we don't see any Charlotte going forward, you know. But let's get into it. So we're going to talk about this Randy Orton thing, all right? And first off, what I got to say, first thing I got to say, I told you guys. What have I been telling you for the last 3 to 4 weeks? What did I tell you? I said it the night after the Royal Rumble. I said it. I said it. Nobody else in the community said it. I said it right here on this podcast, in this same chair, in this same spot about 4 weeks ago, the night after the Royal Rumble when Randy Orton attacked Edge. What did I say? I said, I gave my prediction and my theory on why Randy Orton attacked Edge and where the storyline was going. And I was right. I was 100% correct. I said the reason why Randy Orton attacked Edge, Randy Orton loves Edge like a brother. He loves him. And, you know, Edge got him through all these tough times when he was younger, right? The reason why Randy Orton attacked Edge was because he wanted to save Edge from potentially getting injured again. All right? After Edge's sudden retirement out of nowhere in 2011, we never expected to see Edge back into the ring. We got lucky. We got to see Daniel Bryan come back to the ring. Now we've got to see Edge come back to the ring. That makes me believe that at some point, because it pisses me off. You know, I've done videos about this in the past. When people talk about, oh, Sasha Banks ended Paige's career. Anytime I ever see that on social media, I lose my damn mind. I lose it. Because it's been confirmed, Sasha Banks didn't end Paige's career. It was Paige's body just couldn't hold out. It was a freak accident. Accidents happen in wrestling. I believe one day Paige will be allowed to return to WWE, just like Daniel Bryan was allowed to, just like Edge was allowed to come back. Paige will one day be back into a WWE ring if that's what she wants, a couple years down the line. All right? But you guys get my point. You guys see where I'm going with this. All right? Randy Orton wanted to save Edge from himself. He did. When Edge came back from the Royal Rumble, it was something a lot of us weren't expecting. Even though we read in the reports that Edge was going to come back and all these other things, right? But Randy Orton loves Edge so much like a brother that he didn't want, you know, Edge to get hurt. He didn't want Edge to have another freak accident and end up not being able to wrestle again. All right? So, Randy Orton decided, I'm going to take Edge out to save him from himself, because he knows how much Edge loves this business, how much Edge loves wrestling in general. And he knows that if Edge comes back, he's eventually going to hurt himself and have to retire. Especially, he's an older man. His body's, you know, not the same. You know, so Randy Orton attacked Edge so he could end his career and not risk having to retire again down the line. So Edge could be there for his kids, watch his kids grow up, spend time with his wife, and do all these other great things that life has to offer him. I loved it. I loved it. And I had a smile on my face because I legit said this was the reason why Edge got attacked by Randy Orton. And they did it. They did it. See, my knowledge of this business, I'm sorry, guys. You can call it cocky, but I've been watching WWE for nearly 21 years now. I've been watching WWE my whole entire life. I know how this business works. All right? It's not that hard. It really isn't. It's a great storyline, and even though I was able to figure out where they were going with this storyline, I'm still enjoying it, seeing how this plays out on TV. Randy Orton right now is the best heel in the business. He's the best heel on WWE TV right now. The level of character work this guy is doing, and he's been in WWE now for nearly 2 decades. Nearly 2 decades he's been in WWE, and the fact that he's doing this level of character work at this stage of his career when he should be nearing the end of his career, but he's still doing this level of work, performing and telling stories at a level that he is doing it is absolutely incredible. All right, and we've hearing all these reports that the plan is going to be Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins coming out of WrestleMania. As much as that, that would be probably a decent feud. We've seen Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre already. All right, the best feud coming out of WrestleMania to do, especially for Drew McIntyre being the newly crowned WWE champion, since I think we all believe Drew's going to beat Brock Lesnar at Mania. Do Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. If Randy Orton is putting this amount of work and being the best heel in the entire company at this stage of his career, imagine what he could do with Drew McIntyre. That's must-see stuff. Have you seen how over Drew McIntyre is getting as a babyface? Drew is becoming one of the top babyfaces in the entire company. It's crazy. All right, and Randy Orton's doing this. It's going to be very hard to argue that Randy Orton doesn't deserve to be facing Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship after WrestleMania. It doesn't. Where is Randy Orton going to go after WrestleMania? Because I think most of us believe that Edge is going to beat him. So where does he go? Where does he go from here after WrestleMania? What, do you continue his feud with Edge? I don't know where. I don't know where you go with Randy Orton from here. You can only go upwards. What, you're going to put him down and put him in a mid-level feud? Maybe you feud him with Aleister Black? I don't know. Either you're going to put Randy Orton in the WWE title picture, the feud with Drew McIntyre after WrestleMania, or we're not going to see Randy Orton for a little bit after Mania. Because there's nowhere else for him to go, really. You're not going to have him go to some B to C level feud when he's doing A+ character work right now. Like, come on, it's common sense, people. It's common sense. And I love this. Beth Phoenix came out. She got straight to the point. And then Orton came out. And Orton told stories. This felt real. This felt organic. It didn't feel forced. It did not feel forced. All right? He came out. He explained how when he was a very young, in his late teens, when his father, Cowboy Orton, Bob Orton, when he would bring him backstage to WWE shows to meet talent and, talk to other people about how his son, Randy, how Randy wanted to, one day bring him to the business. All right? And how when he first met Edge, and Edge gave him that advice, and how they grew to become friends. Going on the indie scene, facing each other at house show matches for the IC Championship. Then becoming a tag team, rated RKO. One of the better tag teams of the last couple decades. Very entertaining. How they went on to become tag team champions, and all these other things, man. And how when Randy was at the lowest point of his career, Edge picked him up and helped him get back on the right track. And it made Randy Orton become the man he is today, the father he is today, the husband that he is today. And then how he came at Beth Phoenix. He's like, you're the reason why Edge got in the situation he is. Because you're selfish, all right? You're the one that pushed Edge to come back. I loved it. I loved what Randy Orton was doing here. I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch the promo again. Because it sounded fluid. It was organic. Didn't sound forced. And it felt real. One thing I love is when WWE allows its superstars to go off the script and bring realism into their characters, into their promos, into their storylines. I absolutely love when they do that. This felt real. It felt organic. It felt like a real storyline. Look at what AEW is doing. AEW Revolution was this weekend. Everyone's talking about how every match feels like a sports rivalry. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like WWE, it doesn't feel like they're trying to get some kind of agenda across. It feels organic. All right? The problem with WWE is they try to fit their stupid-ass corporate agenda into everything they do, and it hurts the company in so many ways. But no one wants to say anything about it. That's why you got people like me on this platform to remind y'all how things need to be done. All right? Man, this was great. This was great. And then Beth Phoenix reactions like, me? I've been nothing but a loving wife to my husband and my kids. And Randy Orton's like, oh, yeah, you're a selfish mother. You're a selfish wife. Oh, I'm loving this. Randy Orton was like, I love your kids and your husband more than you ever could. Which, oh my gosh. And then Beth got mad, and I knew it was coming. Classic. Whenever you have a male and female superstar in the ring, Beth slaps Randy Orton across the face. This pisses Randy Orton off to the level, and then out of nowhere, RKO. And we all knew it was coming. Beth hit Orton with a kick. This pissed Randy off. RKO. We all knew it was coming. I said it last week. I've been saying it all week. This segment's ending with Randy Orton RKOing Beth Phoenix. Then Randy Orton walks away. And then there's people in the crowd acting all, acting all shocked, like, oh my gosh, what did I just see? I'm like, guys, really? Really? It's WWE. You really thought, Randy wasn't going to RKO Beth then this segment? We've seen Randy Orton handcuff Stephanie McMahon. We saw Randy Orton knock Stephanie McMahon unconscious, handcuff Triple H to the rope, and then we saw Orton kiss an unconscious Stephanie McMahon with Triple H watching. Like what? This is Randy Orton we're talking about. There is no level to which Randy Orton won't stoop down from. This guy Randy Orton don't care. He's a savage. He's the Viper for a reason. And then afterwards, this was the one part of the segment I didn't like. Afterwards, it's like past 11. The show went to end at around 11:02ish. All right. They spend the next 2-3 minutes when the show should be ending. They spend it with, they have the catering squad out there. They have WWE officials. They have the caterers like Natalia, freaking R-Truth, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins. And I can understand Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Natalia. They're all close to Beth Phoenix and Edge. They're like family to those two. But I'm just like, this is now you're making this seem forced. You just had a fantastic segment. End the show. They spend the next 2-3 minutes having the catering squad out there, and then they keep replaying Randy Orton's RKO over and over and over again on the big screen. Like, what are we doing here? End the show. And then you have Byron Saxton out here. Oh, Byron, I can't stand Byron Saxton. To me, he's probably the worst commentator in all of WWE. I cannot stand Byron Saxton. And it's sorry for me to say that because Byron Saxton, he's an African American. And I should be happy that African Americans are getting any opportunity on WWE TV. Look at the way Vince McMahon treats Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. Like, come on. But no, I can't stand Byron Saxton. He sounds scripted. He's political. He sounds politically pushed. All right. The guy's always opening up his mouth at the worst times when I don't want to hear him speak. And then the guy's just out there like, oh, I don't care. Randy Orton is a son of a bitch. All right, Byron Saxton, go sit. You won't sit at the Randy Orton's face. Go sit at the Randy Orton's face. All right, you won't be on commentary anymore. Trust me. Go sit at the Randy Orton's face. We'll see if you're on commentary again for the rest of the year. Randy Orton will put your ass in the hospital for a year. Shut up, Byron Saxton. But overall, other than that, that was the only part of the segment that got me ignored. Other than that, annoyed, my bad. But other than that, the segment was beautiful. All right? Beautiful. I predicted this was happening. I'm not going to, hold back. I was right. I knew this was going to happen. And now Edge is going to come back. And I love the pacing of this. If there's one storyline, other than maybe Drew and Brock, if there's one storyline that has been booked absolutely perfect up to this point, it's Randy Orton and Edge. Like I said, WWE didn't need to rush this. See, I wish WWE could do this with all their storylines, going to WrestleMania and all their pay-per-views. They're always in a rush to do things, and it pisses me off. Like, if they gave all their storylines the patience, and the creative freedom like they've given Randy Orton and Edge, the product wouldn't be as bad as it is. Look at what NXT does. They tell their stories in time. They don't rush to do things. WWE's always in a rush to do things. They say, oh, we have 2 weeks to a pay-per-view. Let's rush the storyline. When they could give it a month to tell the story it needs to be told. Randy Orton attacked Edge, what was it, 5 weeks ago? Look at this. We still have 5 weeks to go to WrestleMania. And we still haven't seen Edge. And I'm not complaining, because why would we need to see him? Let the storyline be organic. Like, it's that simple. I just wish WWE could treat all their storylines like they treated this storyline. We've heard the reports. Dave Meltzer reported that Edge is scheduled to be on Raw next Monday, which I'm not surprised, because I legit predicted Edge would be on Raw this next Monday, because I said we should not see Edge until the Monday after the Elimination Chamber. Because what? You're not going to have Edge on Super Showdown. No one needs to see that. You're not going to have Edge on Elimination Chamber. WrestleMania, we know WWE's going to go hard with the WrestleMania build after the Elimination Chamber. After the Elimination Chamber, we should have a very clear direction on which matches are going to be happening for WrestleMania. Alright? And even though WWE fucked up, alright, because, you know, they're still, it seems like they still don't have any clue of what they want to do with WrestleMania. Just look at that Goldberg shit. I don't want to talk about SmackDown, but you guys know what I mean. Alright? But we're going to see Edge next week. Alright? Will he attack Randy Orton? Will he explain what he's going to do? Will Edge challenge Randy Orton to a match at WrestleMania? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm very excited to see Edge. If there's one reason why I'm excited for Raw next week, it's because of Edge. Alright? It's because of Edge. Alright. But other than that, yeah, that's about all I gotta say about that segment. It was probably the best part of the show, other than the Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. Those were probably the only 2 good parts of this show, if I'm being honest. Alright, this show was not good outside those 2 segments. But getting into the beginning of Raw, we talked about the end of Raw. Now let's talk about the beginning of Raw. Raw started off with Brock Lesnar. And I knew he would be on the show, because now that he's done with Ricochet, we'll talk about Ricochet a little bit later. He's gonna be squarely focused on Drew McIntyre and building up their match for WrestleMania. So basically, this was very simple. Show starts off. Paul Heyman comes out with Brock Lesnar, and he calls the WrestleMania main event a sham. All right, he said that basically Drew McIntyre was not a true threat to the WWE champion. All right, and you can clearly see how they're trying to build this. You know, they're trying to build this with Lesnar not seeing McIntyre as a true threat, the same way he's seen guys like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan in the past. But still, there was a point in this, which is where the segment really heated up. There was a point where Drew McIntyre got called a bitch by Paul Heyman. I loved it. Paul Heyman called Drew McIntyre a little bitch. Alright, the only reason why he's in this position is because you guys hype him up. You know, Paul Heyman said Drew McIntyre would have never have eliminated Brock from the Royal Rumble if it wasn't for Lesnar being distracted by the low blow Ricochet gave him. And, you know, that allowed McIntyre the opportunity to Claymore Lesnar out of the ring. But Paul Heyman said Lesnar had no chance against or Lesnar would make quick work out of McIntyre, and McIntyre had no chance to beat him. Alright. And this would basically allow Drew McIntyre to come out. Drew McIntyre came out. He wasn't wearing jeans and t-shirts like he's been wearing the last couple weeks. He was in his full ring gear, and the guy was focused. The crowd was very, very high, very, very loud for Drew McIntyre tonight. Man, the guy got a massive pop. McIntyre comes straight down to the ring. All right, he enters the ring and hits a Claymore on Brock Lesnar right away. Brock Lesnar stared down McIntyre, and he went to leave the ring, but then McIntyre, saw that Lesnar actually wasn't leaving the ring. Lesnar runs at McIntyre, runs into a Claymore kick, and the crowd's going wild. Then McIntyre just, is screaming in Lesnar's face, and then walks out. Then I thought the segment was over, but it wasn't. McIntyre has already walked backstage at this point, but then Lesnar gets up, and then he's pissed. He's pissed that he allowed Drew McIntyre to Claymore him. So he's walking out. He's walking out of the ring, and he's pissed. He has his WWE title. Paul Heyman's in shock that Lesnar's been claymored again by Lesnar. So then Lesnar walks up the ring, and out of nowhere we hear the crowd is getting high again. They start going crazy, and out of nowhere McIntyre hits a second claymore on Brock Lesnar. All right, absolutely screaming. Then he grabs the WWE title, lifts it in the air, and the crowd's going wild. As it looks like this is a potential WrestleMania spoiler, which is we know that the plans right now are for McIntyre to defeat Lesnar at WrestleMania, which should be the main event. People. It's not Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. All right, what? We're going to watch Roman Reigns and Goldberg just trade spears for 5 minutes? No. The main event should be either Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre or Sasha Banks and Bayley if we get that match, which we should. But don't get me started on that. I've done enough ranting on Sasha Banks and Bayley. Swear if it's Lacey Evans versus Bayley, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. But then McIntyre puts the time down, and it looks like the segment's going to end. No, the crowd starts chanting. I love how the crowd got involved with this segment here. The crowd starts chanting one more time. So Drew's going to give the crowd what they want. He waits for Lesnar to get back on his feet, and he hits him with a third devastating Claymore kick. And, the commentators noted how it actually looked like Lesnar was legitimately knocked out. I'm not, 100% certain, but maybe he was. Who knows? But still, Lesnar's on his back, and Drew McIntyre is just going crazy, staring a hole into Lesnar, and then, the crowd's going wild, and that's how the segment ends. All right? I absolutely love this. The beginning and ending segment for Raw tonight were great. Having Drew McIntyre get the upper hand. This was payback for the F5 Lesnar gave McIntyre weeks ago. I feel like they could tell a little more of a story here with this match. I just don't want this story just to be, Lesnar sees McIntyre as no threat. All right? I feel like they could, make more of a story out of this, make it a little bit more about Drew just easily being able to defeat Lesnar for the championship at WrestleMania. I don't know what ways there is, but I feel like Paul Heyman could cook something up if he gives the story that level of care. But I'm loving McIntyre Lesnar. Like I said, if we're not getting Sasha Banks and Bayley at Mania, the main event should be Lesnar and McIntyre, not Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. That is retarded logic. Like I said, if Goldberg and Roman Reigns is the main event of WrestleMania, I am starting my review early. Simple as that. I'm going to set up and start my WrestleMania review early. I'm not sitting around to watch Roman Reigns get a 5th coronation. Please. I don't want to see Roman and Goldberg, pass spears. All right? Next up. There are some idiots in the community. Really. There are some real idiots in the community. The Street Profits versus Seth Rollins and Murphy for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This was marketed as the Street Profits' final chance at the Raw Tag Team Championships. How many chances have they had? I don't know. Did they have a Raw Tag Team title shot last week? I wasn't paying attention, because most of the time, 80% of the time, I'm not paying attention when Raw's on the air. I'm not. I'm either following on Twitter or just finding something else better to do in my life. All right? Because Raw's just that garbage. But still, this company, man, the Street Profits, they are a great tag team. Don't get me wrong. They have not been booked correctly since they got to the main roster, and that's Vince McMahon's fault. But the Street Profits are a great tag team. Don't get me wrong. I love the Street Profits. Let's go look at their work down in NXT. But my problem with the Street Profits is ever since they've been booked on Monday Night, when they first got the Monday Night Raw, well, how were they booked? They were booked as cheerleaders. So, you expect me to care about the Street Profits? What about, didn't they have their own show like their own segment. Like they had their own news segment when they would talk about stuff going down in WWE. Like the Street Profits are entertaining, but they weren't booked correctly. We barely got they weren't even featured in the ring for the first 4 or 5 months they were on Monday Night Raw. They weren't even booked in matches. It wasn't until like late December when we finally started seeing the Street Profits in the ring. They haven't been booked correctly at all. I would love to see a Street Profits versus AOP or a Street Profits versus, the Viking Raiders feud for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I would love to see that. But they haven't been booked correctly. Alright? And the second they said, oh, this was their final opportunity, I knew it was very likely that we were going to get the Street Profits winning this match. I thought we were heading towards, potentially seeing Seth Rollins and Murphy defend the Raw Tag Team Championships against Kevin Owens and maybe, Samoa Joe or somebody like that at WrestleMania. But I don't know what the plans have changed, if they're making it into a multi-tag team match. I don't know what they're doing at this point. See, like WWE, they're just booking this week by week, and it's really pissing me off. Alright? Basically what happens, the AOP, they got involved in this match. The referee saw them, they got thrown out. And then in the chaos, Kevin Owens was able to slip into the ring and hit a stunner on Seth Rollins. This allows for Montez Ford to hit a frog splash, and the Street Profits become the new tag team champions. And here's my thing about this. It was the crowd in Brooklyn made this feel like a big moment. The Street Profits winning the tag team championship. They made them feel like this was a big moment, but it really wasn't. You know how much bigger this would have been if the Street Profits had been properly built up? For real, this was just a cheap title win just for this show to have a big moment since they were in Brooklyn tonight. That was about it. Alright? The Street Profits have done nothing to even earn a tag team championship, let alone win the tag team championships. Honestly, and what are they going to do with them going to WrestleMania? Are we getting the Street Profits versus the AOP? What's going to happen? I would have much rather you had built the Street Profits up to win these titles at WrestleMania, which is 5 weeks away, instead of giving us this tonight. But WWE, they lack logic. They give us a random title match. Street Profits get a random title win for what? For what? Then you have Triple H backstage taking, how he always takes photos with his NXT superstars when they win championships on the main roster. I love Triple H. What he does with NXT is great, but I would love for Triple H to explain to me what in the hell the Street Profits have done to earn a Raw Tag Team Championship reign. And then it was confirmed that, afterwards Seth Rollins bitched and moaned and he demanded a rematch for the tag team titles at Elimination Chamber. At Elimination Chamber, we're pretty much just getting a bunch of random matches that we've already seen on TV. Brock Lesnar nor Bray Wyatt, or not, oh wow, I'm sorry, I forgot, Bray Wyatt's no longer the Universal Champion because they gave it to 52-year-old Goldberg who can't take bumps. Get out of here with that garbage. Alright, Elimination Chambers look like an absolute terrible show. Terrible show. If you're paying to go to Philadelphia, my friend texted me, he was like, oh, do you want to I could easily take the bus to go to Philadelphia if I wanted to. But this card is trash. WWE does not deserve my money. Why would I spend money on this garbage product? Legit, Elimination Chamber is just a show with a bunch of TV matches. There's really no fresh matchups on the Elimination Chamber card. Elimination Chamber will probably be the most boring pay-per-view we see all year on WWE TV. And that's just me being honest with y'all. Like only I can be. Alright, and now my camera's messing up. I hate this. This happens like once every single review. You know what, we're going to continue with the review. Hopefully we can eventually get the camera back in focus. Okay, there we go. Anyway, I don't like I said, congrats to the Street Profits, but it's just a random tag team title win. And how much you willing to bet? I'm willing to bet. I'm gonna make a prediction right now. I'm probably not gonna do an Elimination Chamber preview show or preview pod before Elimination Chamber because I just don't give a damn about this pay-per-view. Even though I should since it's the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. But I just don't give a damn. Alright? Tell you guys right now. I believe Murphy and Rollins will regain the tag team titles at the Elimination Chamber. Alright? I don't think WWE has a long-term plan for the Street Profits right now. As much as I wish they do, they shouldn't even won the titles tonight. They haven't done anything to deserve it. I like the Street Profits, but I'm not a fan of random title victories. I'm sorry. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not gonna, be all happy and say this was great just because the Street Profits won. Like, no. It makes no sense. No sense. Oh, man. Speaking of illogical, 24/7 champion Riddick Moss. I still don't know who the hell he is. And I never watched one of his matches down in NXT. But 24/7 champion Riddick Moss versus Ricochet. You guys know Ricochet got buried against Brock Lesnar at the Super Showdown pay-per-view in less than 2 minutes. Didn't even get a move in. Wow, great job WWE in making freaking Ricochet look strong. Great job. Picture perfect. Alright? Anyway, you can tell WWE does not care about Ricochet. I don't know. It feels like Ricochet is getting the Cedric Alexander treatment. If you guys remember last year when they had Alexander feuding with AJ Styles for a couple months, and then by the end of that feud, it just felt like WWE just gave up on Cedric Alexander, and that was what the reports. Vince McMahon just gave up on Cedric Alexander. There was no reason why. Some people thought it was racism. I don't know. It could be. Because look at Ricochet. Ricochet legit looks like he's falling into the same place Cedric Alexander fell in last year. We've barely seen Cedric Alexander on TV since that feud with AJ Styles. Ricochet, yes, people thought, Ricochet's getting a WWE Championship opportunity against Brock Lesnar. He's doing fine. He got buried in 2 minutes. Didn't even get a move in. Then he loses a 24/7 championship match to Riddick Moss, a guy that I don't know who he is. I have no idea who the hell Riddick Moss even is. And people want to be like, oh, he's actually being booked correctly. Man, are there some idiots on social media. I have no idea who Riddick Moss is, and Moss beat him in a 24/7 championship match. And then there was a video I saw on social media. I retweeted. If you guys follow me, glord33 on Twitter, you guys can find the link in the description down below. There was a video of someone taped Ricochet going backstage after his loss to Riddick Moss. And he was taking off his hand wraps and all that. And Ricochet looked visibly upset. And why would he? Here's a guy that was one of the best talents in all of NXT. Comes onto the main roster and is absolutely buried. Absolutely buried. It's sad. It really is sad to see how far Ricochet has fallen. I don't care what anybody says. Ricochet is officially buried. He's officially buried. His best chance of getting his career back on track, either ask Triple H to please send him back down to NXT or ask for your release. Even though you're probably not going to get it since WWE does not want anybody going to AEW. But that's really Ricochet's best shot at this point. I feel really bad for Ricochet, man. The guy's way too talented to be treated the way. But Ricochet is officially buried. It makes no sense why he would lose to Riddick Moss, of all people. Makes no sense at all. I don't know why they did it, but to me, Ricochet's buried. Next up, I was actually excited for this, and WWE, of course, they made me unexcited. Alright? Aleister Black versus Carl Anderson versus Luke Gallows versus AJ Styles. This was basically a 3-on-1 gauntlet match for Aleister Black. So you guys already know, they're setting up AJ Styles versus The Undertaker for WrestleMania. That was basically, they put the little siege for that in what they did with Undertaker at Super Showdown, Undertaker with his surprise appearance, and how he, beat Styles with just the choke slam, not even taking out off his hat and his robe. Um, Basically, they're setting that up. We know we're gonna be getting Styles and Taker at WrestleMania. Basically, Styles comes out before the match, and he's talking about how Super Showdown was a fluke, and basically the whole thing is Undertaker keeps coming back when this is not his spotlight to have anymore. Undertaker only comes back because he craves the spotlight, but he has to understand this is not his spotlight anymore. This is AJ Styles' house now. It's no longer Taker's yard, it's Styles' ring now, which I kind of agree with. Undertaker, I love The Undertaker, one of my favorites of all time, but damn, he keeps coming back. WWE keeps paying him. It's one of my biggest problems with WWE. WWE's always paying their damn part-timers to come back when they don't need them. Instead of building up new stars, you keep bringing back part-timers. Edge, I'm not going to put him in that boat because Edge is most likely going to be semi-full-time. Alright, once his Randy Orton feud is over. But I'm talking about, the Undertakers, the Goldbergs, the Shane McMahons, the Brock Lesnars. Even though I respect Brock Lesnar now, but you guys get my point. Alright, you guys get my point. But basically he says this was his house. And basically he's on a crash course with The Undertaker. I thought that it was likely that Undertaker would show up tonight. It's Brooklyn. We're on the road to WrestleMania. I thought it would make sense Taker would show up to challenge AJ Styles to a match at WrestleMania. We didn't get that. Alright. Aleister Black comes out. Remember, this was all set up because Aleister Black was attacked by the OC last week before his match with Eric Rowan. So right before this match gets underway, AJ Styles grabs the mic again, and he's like, before you can face me, you have to face Carl Anderson. He beats Carl Anderson with a black mask, alright? Then he has to go face Luke Gallows. Luke Gallows beat down Black for the bell, and basically he kept doing it to the point where the referee had to call for a disqualification. So then AJ Styles could get his crack at Aleister Black. But at this point, Aleister Black had already been severely weakened. He just had a match with Carl Anderson. He had a match with Luke Gallows. He clearly was nowhere near 100% to go up against a fresh AJ Styles. So then the OC stomped on Aleister Black, hit him with a magic killer, and then Styles comes in for his match. Aleister Black, he tries fighting, he got a couple moves in, but still against a much fresher AJ Styles. Styles beat him with the phenomenal forearm, and then he did, to add insult to injury, he did the Undertaker pinfall, where Taker puts the arms across the chest and he does the tug out. Basically mocking the Undertaker, sending a message to the Undertaker that I'm coming for you. Alright. This wasn't bad, but first off, I've lost about all respect for the OC. They keep having Mike Rome go out there and call the OC the best tag team in the world when they're clearly not. They're not the best tag team in the world. Alright? You book them as losers every single week. Just like you book Ricochet as a loser every single week. Like, get the hell out of here with this nonsense. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Alright, the OC, or at least Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they're losers. AJ Styles isn't a loser, but you guys get my point. Alright? But then, we know this is going to set up AJ versus Taker. I don't like how Aleister Black is being used here to further the storyline. I don't see them doing like a triple threat. With putting Aleister Black, Taker, and Styles. That makes no sense to me. Maybe they do something like Aleister Black and Taker go up against the OC. That would be something. At least we'll get Aleister Black on the card, because I think Aleister Black's way too good to not be on the WrestleMania card. This also shows us how much talent WWE has and how everybody can't be on the WrestleMania card. It's absolutely crazy. You think about it, names like, Shinsuke Nakamura, Aleister Black, The list goes on and on and on. There's so many superstars that might end up in the battle royal, that might not be able to get matches on the main card. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how much talent WWE has and how they can't book all this talent to have matches on WrestleMania. This is why I kind of thought that maybe WWE should adapt a 2-night WrestleMania idea. All right, look how Wrestle Kingdom does it. You know, WWE, unless they figure out a way, it's not fair for some of these names to be forced in those generic ass battle royals that they do on the pre-show. It's not fair. All right, I think it's time WWE really considers making WrestleMania maybe into a 2-night event. But that's just my opinion on that. When will The Undertaker appear? Maybe next week. Maybe at the Elimination Chamber. It was confirmed at Elimination Chamber. We will be getting the one-on-one match between Aleister Black and AJ Styles, with Aleister Black being 100% this time. It should be potentially Aleister Black and AJ Styles, if given the time. Aleister Black and AJ Styles could be the best match of Elimination Chamber Sunday night. I'm not that excited for Elimination Chamber, but definitely, if these two get the match that I expect, this could be something. This could definitely be something. Next up, we had Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott with special guest referee Sarah Logan. That dynamic, we know that Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott are feuding right now. And, Sarah Logan, they were all members of the Riott Squad. I hated them as a trio back in the day. So I'm glad they're broken up. I do like Liv Morgan a lot. I feel like she can be built up to be a star on the show, especially when the women's division needs stars. The match between Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan wasn't bad. It was, I guess, an okay for a TV match. I think they definitely could go to a higher gear, Sarah Logan, she was a special guest referee. She remained as an impartial referee throughout, most of the match. But near the end, Riott accidentally headbutt Sarah Logan, and Logan did a very slow count when Ruby Riott was trying to pin Liv. Then, Liv and, not Liv, but then Ruby and Sarah start getting into it. Then, Morgan's able to get the roll-up on Ruby Riott. Logan does the fast count, and Liv Morgan gets the win. Afterwards, Logan laid out both Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. This was kind of just, hype up the Elimination Chamber match. Since all three of these former Riott Squad members will be in the Elimination Chamber, even though I don't give a damn, because I like Liv Morgan, but she ain't winning this. I wish Sarah Logan could actually get some more shine, just because she is a talented individual, and your women's division, like I always say, needs more stars. But you know how WWE operates at this point. We all know it's Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler is going to win the Women's Elimination Chamber match. These other women are just in there just to be in there. Will it be a good match? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. We had Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Zelina Vega, of course, was their manager. This was Andrade's first match on Monday Night Raw in a month since being suspended. Andrade and Angel Garza. I love Angel Garza, man. I'm finding him more and more likable each and every single week. Andrade and Garza came out with a matching blue attire. They could be a tag team, but I don't see it. I'm glad that it looks like Garza's sticking around on Monday Night Raw, because some of us thought he was going to get sent back down to NXT after all this. But the guys, at this point, keep on Raw. I'm loving this. This was a really good match. At the beginning of this match, Andrade and Garza had control, but the baby faces, of course, worked their way back in. Mysterio got the hot tag, and this turned the match around. Then the pace got really pushed up. Rey Mysterio at the end of the match hits a 619 on both the heels, and then Carrillo hits Andrade with the moonsault to take the victory. So the big thing here is Humberto gets a pinfall over the U.S. champion, and we have been getting reports that Andrade, his days as U.S. champion, are very, very numbered. All right, very numbered. And we'll just have to wait and see. I I haven't heard anything about the U.S. Championship being defended at the Elimination Chamber, but if I guess, it's probably going to be Humberto. Since he did get the pinfall victory over Andrade tonight, that would make the most sense. I'm not excited about it, because we've seen this match done so many times. But, hey, I guess this is WWE's way of punishing Andrade, especially after he failed the drug test, and the U.S. Championship was not featured on Monday Night Raw for the last month. Alright, so that's my thoughts on that. Last thing before we get out of here, I'm going to have to rant a little bit about Becky Lynch. We had Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. This was Shayna Baszler's last match, or first match, my bad. First match on Monday Night Raw. And I like Kairi Sane. It was supposed to originally be Asuka, which would have been even more entertaining. But Asuka, she has some wrist injury. I don't know if it's legit or not. Maybe they just want to save this match because Asuka and Kairi Sane, or Asuka versus Shayna Baszler, I definitely think we could see that match going through the summer. Asuka challenging Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship. I definitely want to see that feud. Maybe you turn Asuka into a babyface, for that. But this wasn't a bad match. The thing about it is, the crowd really wasn't into it because both Kairi and Shayna are heels. So they were kind of indifferent to these two superstars. I guess you could say Kairi was kind of the babyface in this, but it's honestly whatever at this point. All right. I got really pissed off because Becky Lynch came out halfway through this match in this ridiculous troll outfit. I don't know. She was dressed off as the female version of Jerry the King Lawler. She had a crown and everything. Now she's walking around calling herself the king. First it's the man, then it's the king. I guess she doesn't want to call herself the queen since, that belongs to Charlotte, of course. But still, I'm so over Becky Lynch. Alright? You guys know I do like Becky Lynch, but her credibility to me, in my opinion, and I've been bitching and moaning about this for weeks now on this podcast. Becky Lynch, she's not the man to me anymore. And I'm probably going to do another or separate video about this. She's not the man to me anymore. She should have lost the Raw Women's Championship to Sasha Banks. Alright? And ever since then, I've just gotten more and more annoyed of her. Alright? See, this is not the Becky Lynch we all were supporting when she originally turned babyface. Remember when she turned heel and then turned babyface and became the man? I've been saying this for months. Becky Lynch was much, much better when she was chasing after titles. Ever since she became champion, she's become cocky. She comes off as a heel to me. Becky comes off as a heel to me more and more. Alright? She has more of that cool factor. She has that factor that Becky once had. Alright? Becky coming out here with her troll glasses one week. Then she's dressing up as the king. It's just more cockiness, and I find it annoying as hell. Alright? Becky Lynch, when she was going up against or chasing after Ronda Rousey, you wanted to get behind her. Because this was somebody that had been pushed down, had never been given the opportunities that everybody else had been given. She had been put in catering and all this other stuff. Then she had to fight her way out. And then we all wanted to see Becky succeed. And no one's talking about it because everyone loves Becky. Alright? Becky Lynch, I found Becky annoying. Just annoying. Her reign has been very disappointing. And now she's just out here trolling, like calling herself the GOAT, the king, the man. Oh, she's giving herself 1,000 nicknames. Like, please. Honestly, I miss the last kicker. I miss the Becky that was, that chased after people. Alright? It's one thing to become champion, and then it's another thing to defend your championship. And Becky Lynch's title reign has been very disappointing to me. Yes, so, the history books will go down as her being the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, her defeating Sasha and Charlotte and Asuka and Ronda. Like, yes, the names are there, but the reign was disappointing. Alright, I cannot wait for Shayna to finally take that title off of her. For real. See, it's just annoying. My boy JD tweeted out, and this is the perfect way to describe Becky Lynch. Alright? My boy JD from NY says this. This right here is fucking awful. She has lost every ounce of credibility. She is forcing this, and it's completely unrelatable to what she did on her initial run that made us love her. Now they couldn't take the title off her fast enough. Yes, I completely agree. Like, what the hell is this? What is that? This sounds forced. This is forced. This is just me like, hey, look at me. All right, I'm the man. I'm all this. Like, this is not the Becky Lynch that we saw, you know. This is not the Becky Lynch we initially saw go after Ronda Rousey. The Becky Lynch that broke her nose when SmackDown invaded Monday Night Raw in Survivor Series in 2018. Like what? Do you ever think you would see Sasha Banks or Asuka or somebody wear that ridiculous nonsense? You think Stone Cold Steve Austin in his prime, and thank you, Eric, because you took it right out of my mind. You think Stone Cold Steve Austin or CM Punk, some of the most badass characters in the history of this company, you think they would ever come out wearing a ridiculous robe? No. One of the things that made Stone Cold and CM Punk and John Cena some of the greatest WWE champions of all time, they never changed. No matter if they had the championship or they didn't have the championship, their character never changed. Never. They were the same person with the belt and without the belt. Becky Lynch, ever since she became champion, she's become cocky, she's become annoying, she's become unrelatable. And it's annoying. And I cannot wait to see Shayna take the title from her at WrestleMania. And I think that's a perfect way for me to end tonight's podcast. Alright? If you guys came here a little bit late, go to the beginning of the podcast. I spent the first 30 minutes talking about Lesnar, McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Beth Phoenix, which were easily the best parts of the show. But yeah, that's about all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me on the Legit Shoot. I will have an Elimination Chamber review this Sunday. No stream, but we will have an Elimination Chamber review live on the channel this Sunday. Other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Make sure to enable notifications by clicking the bell right next to my name, This One TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description down below. I'm going to get out of here. Peace.